It's live from Arthur Ashe Stadium. It's AEW Dynamite Grand Slam. Opening contest sees Ring of Honor champion Claudio Castagnoli take on New Japan Strong champion Eddie Kingston in a title versus title affair. Highlights include a back body drop to the ramp on the outside that I'm sure cracked Eddie's back. Claudio hits the Ricola bomb, but Eddie kicks out at 2. Eddie counters an uppercut and hits 2 hurricanes, a half and half suplex, a third hurricane, and a Northern Lights bomb, but somehow Claudio kicks out at 2. Eddie looks for a powerbomb, but Claudio counters with an uppercut, and again Eddie counters with a hurricane before hitting a powerbomb of his own and pinning Claudio for 3. Eddie Kingston wins in an emotional hometown win. After the match, Eddie and Claudio stare each other down as Claudio extends his hand for the handshake, which Eddie does take, but it's the handshake you do when the teachers tell you to shake hands with someone in school that you don't like. Claudio hands over the Ring of Honor World Championship and allows double champion Eddie Kingston to celebrate with his people. This will be the first time I've really been vulnerable on the channel, but I love Eddie Kingston because I see a lot of myself in him personality-wise. It was his promo this week on Collision where he talked about coping with his mental health struggles, saying he pushes everyone away and then blames them because that's the sickness in him, and that line really hit me hard for the purposes of relatability. Eddie is an inspiration, and I could have cried happy tears for him seeing him win the Ring of Honor title. It motivates me in my own journey and shows me that anything is possible. Let's get back to the graps now. Chris Jericho faces Sammy Guevara next. For Sammy's entrance, the lights go out and we get a Jericho nod with a light up vest. Guevara also gets sang to the ring. Presumably he heard everyone sing Judas and knew they wouldn't sing his song, so he had to pay someone to sing it for him. Jericho counters a GTH and hits a code breaker but can't capitalise. Jericho suplexes Guevara from the apron to the floor in a nasty bump. Guevara hits a code breaker of his own but only gets a 2 count. Sammy then nails a big moonsault off the top to the floor in a terrifying spot. Sammy looks for the GTH again, but again Jericho counters, but this time he gets the walls of Jericho, but it doesn't lead to the finish. Guevara nails the GTH at long last and goes up to the top for a shooting star press, but gets caught mid-air with a code breaker in a 6th spot as Jericho wins. After the match there's a handshake and a hug between the two men, but Guevara low blows Jericho in a shock turn as it's revealed that Guevara is now aligned with Don Callis and has fully turned his back on Jericho. What a swerve and a shock, I did not see this coming. Rey Fenix challenges Jon Moxley for the AEW International Championship next. The match starts on the ramp as the two hold nothing back in the opening stages and brawl. Phoenix looks for a springboard, but Moxley counters with a paradigm shift, but Phoenix kicks out at 2. Moxley shouts out Seth Rollins with a curb stomp on the outside that makes the crowd chant Seth's song. Let's get into the finish of this one. Phoenix drops Moxley in his head, knocks him out for real and pins him. Mox doesn't kick out, but the ref doesn't count the 3 because Mox was meant to win. The referee should have just counted the 3 because what happens next is criminal. Phoenix picks Mox up and drops him on his head again, and this time the referee counts the 3. Mox could have had a broken neck and Phoenix is dropping him on his head. It's reckless and disgusting. Rick Knox could have stopped the second pile driver and he should have just counted 3 the first time, and Phoenix shouldn't be pile driving wrestlers with head injuries. They should both be fined and suspended in my opinion for their carelessness. Samoa Joe walks the halls of the stadium with a security team. I thought he was going to push one of them in reference to MJF, but he didn't. MJF then gets a clip where a kid tells him to beat Joe, so MJF gives him his scarf and whispers something in his ear. Turns out he tells the ugly runt of a kid that he was adopted. Way! Samoa Joe challenges MJF for the AEW World Championship in your main event. After biting Joe in the corner, MJF backflips out and teases the kangaroo kick before dropping Joe with the signature move. Joe nails an FU in the ring apron, the hardest part of the ring, you know. Joe pulls out a table and Uranakis MJF through it at ringside. His back will be sore tomorrow, folks. Joe exposes the concrete floor and tries to drop MJF on it, but Max bites Joe's leg and reverses. However, Joe gets back in control, pile drives MJF on the exposed floor, and a doctor comes to check on MJF. A little insensitive to do this after what happened to Moxley earlier in the night, in my opinion. MJF gets caught in the coquina clutch but pulls the ref in close and low blows Joe before pulling out the Dynamite Diamond Ring. The ref catches Max with the ring and confiscates it as Joe receipts him for the low blow and hits a muscle buster, but Max somehow kicks out. Joe tries choking out Max, but Adam Cole runs down and motivates MJF to fight back. Cole also got injured jumping off the ramp. Apparently he left the local hospital in crutches, so I hope he's doing alright. I'm starting to think that this stadium is just cursed, to be honest. Max backs Joe into the corner, sending the ref to the outside, which allows Max to use what looked like a chain to choke out Joe, and when the referee comes to, he decides MJF has won. MJF drops the evidence after the ref gives him his title, but he distracts the ref as Adam Cole cleans up his mess in a funny moment. Joe goes to attack Cole, but Max puts himself in the way. This presumably earns Joe's respect as he offers a handshake, which Max reciprocated. We go off the air with MJF and Adam Cole celebrating together. Thank you so much for watching my review of AEW Dynamite Grand Slam this week. What a bizarre show. Like seriously, Adam Cole and Jon Moxley both got injured, but Eddie Kingston won the Ring of Honor title and Sammy Guevara turned on Chris Jericho. It was great, but it was just weird at the same time. Please do your part and support the channel by liking, subscribing, and let me know in the comments what you liked about the show, what you didn't like about the show, and what you think that I can do better. Hopefully you stick around, and I'll see you all next time.